Is it good, Rich? Thank you. All right, everybody, welcome to the Monday, November 3rd Board of Trustees meeting. Please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Mr. Neil Smith.
Me?
Neil Smith.
Oh, Neil Smith.
Want to lead us in the pledge?
No,
Then I shall. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
thank you.
Well, we have a guest. Always invite the guests. I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing portion of the Board of Trustees meeting.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. The other Mr. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Our first local law is Local Law J, Sports Courts. Amend Chapter 212, Tennis and Other Courts. As stated in the past, Village Code does not adequately address the location and use of sports courts. By updating our code, we could prevent potential quality of life issues for neighbors who would join any proposed sports court. I think we've discussed this multiple times, and I will open it up first to the trustees if they have any questions.
Paddles misspelled.
I'm sorry.
Is that a different spelling of paddle?
It's Fidel.
Padel?
It is Padel.
Padel is another sport, another racket sport that's a cross between pickleball and racquetball and tennis. Yes,
Who knew?
They just
It's
keep
very
inventing
popular.
these sports. It's like
it's very popular in Europe.
I need to get on that.
It's getting popular here.
Yeah, but it's an amazing
At the
game.
club, at the clubs, they're putting Fidel courts.
And it's glass walls. You play off the glass walls.
Oh, someone was telling me about
It's
this.
an amazing game.
Why is pickleball crossed out in other courts? Because it's in the first court under tennis court, is that right? Is that right?
Yeah, it's covered by the other definition.
Yep, gotcha, that's what.
All right, if there's no more questions from our trustees, is there any questions from the public on this? That being said, no.
Oh, the actual section about the Padel course.
I would like to do two things. I'm going to make a motion to pass local law J, tennis and other courts, as well as make the SECRA declaration. For the purposes of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, or SECRA, I move that the village be identified as lead agency and that this action be deemed a type 2 action under SECRA, having no significant impact on the environment, and that as such, no further action is required under SECRA. So I'm making both motions. Seconded by,
I'll second.
that would be Trustee Collins. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? No. Wonderful. Local law K, regulate plantings in the village right of way. As discussed in the past, to improve road safety for our children, walkers, bikers, and drivers. Oh, and joggers. The village needs to ensure that greenery, including bushes, shrubs, plants, and trees, are not planted or growing in the village's right of way. This greenery can restrict sightlines at corners and prevent pedestrians from having a safe place to get off the street if need be. Village code and policy needs to be updated to specify where greenery may not be located. We've discussed this ad nauseum from previous months, and I'm going to first open this up to the trustees if they have any questions on this.
So we're on 4 feet. Is that what it's current?
Yeah.
4 feet.
Yep.
Is it by an intersection? Are we talking about a 4-way intersection or a 3-way intersection? How is that being defined?
A corner. Corner of what? A corner.
Well, a 3-way intersection has a corner.
Has two corners.
Yeah,
So it'll be the two corners.
but not the
flat.
not the
straight.
flat part.
The idea is to see around the corner. When you're coming with a pedestrian or car can see around the corner. So it refers to however many corners there are in an intersection.
Okay. So this rule applies to the two homes that would be part of the T, but not the cross of the T.
For the section on
Second one.
corners, and then we also have the right of ways along straightaways.
And that means everyone on the straightaway has to have everything more than 4 feet away from the road.
I don't see this.
There has to be clearance, and I don't want to necessarily say,
I have a real problem with that, because I live
We're missing.
in that intersection. The people at the bottom of the T in this village, if I took a picture of one of such homes today,
It might be stapled with,
the people that live at the bottom of the Ts often have things to make sure that cars don't go through the intersection. And they're almost always within 4 feet of the intersection.
It's not,
it's not property
They can
maintenance,
set things back 4 feet from the road.
or is it?
no.
What's the name of this local law?
See, we don't have sidewalks.
There is literally a house, I'm not gonna say where it is, because I'm not gonna implicate it, but there's literally a house that has a thing that's about chest high at the bottom of the hilly T
No, it's in
intersection,
property
so that
maintenance.
cars won't go through the intersection and go into the house. I have a line of bushes in front of my
That's what
house,
they
which are
were
not 4 feet from the edge, because my house is on a knoll. So if I go 4 feet back, I'm putting hedges at the bottom of a knoll coming off of the hill. That would also be true of the house 3 houses away from me.
I think the issue is that people generally don't appreciate that there's a right of way, that there's part of what they think is their lawn and their property is actually in the village right of way. Certainly, they take care of it via lawn or whatever, but, so I think that this has kind of got to get to the point where it's like, what's the right balance here?
the right balance is safety.
Yes.
100% safety.
So
For
when-
anybody here who opposes this, and I'm going to put words in your own mouth,
No,
everyone's
don't
mouth,
do that, Randall. Don't be an idiot.
you're all opposed.
Don't be an idiot. Just don't be an idiot. Why are you saying that? Just because someone doesn't necessarily like
So you
something
want-
that's being
that's where you
proposed,
wanna act,
doesn't
Eric?
mean that you should call them out as being,
This is all about safety for people not to get killed. Our roads do not have sidewalks. Anybody going down our street, there are many cases where it's not safe to get off the road.
All right, I will take everyone to my house. I have a line of bushes that are 4 feet apart. If you're walking on my street and there's a car coming, you can easily take a step onto the grass. Easily. Even though the bushes are not 4 feet from the sidewalk. If, however, this winter a car is coming down the hill, it's going to go straight into my house if I don't have anything blocking it. That's not very safe for me. So you're choosing one form of safety over another. You're not choosing safety, you're choosing one form of safety over another. The people that live in these houses on the bottom of hills have actual concerns. How many people have been killed on the streets walking compared to how many people have been killed in the village from cars blowing past an intersection? Because I will tell you that a car missed my house but went into my bushes in my backyard because somebody couldn't stop coming down the hill. So if I had had nothing in front of my house, safety would have dictated somebody could have been hurt in my house. So don't tell me this is about safety or not safety. It depends on the way things sit. And there's no pedestrian. I walk home from every hockey game. I walk home to the stores. I walk to the barber shop. If there's a car, if I'm coming down the hill and there's a car coming, I can step easily onto my grass area without any, even though my bush is a foot from the thing, because I don't step on the bush, I step next to it.
So that's good that there's enough space, but there are many instances.
But you're making
where
a blank rule here that you can't put anything 4 feet away. One bush 4 feet away is gonna make it unsafe. That's ridiculous.
So whether you suggest then, strike the whole thing, or is there a
I
distance that works
suggest to
for you?
vote on the rest of this, and if you wanna revisit this, then give me an opportunity to show you what people in our neighborhood have done who live at the bottom of hills in T intersections to protect themselves. And I think you'll see that a lot of people have done stuff about it because they're worried that cars coming off of these hills, and there's a lot of hills in our village, that end in front of somebody's home, where kids could be playing in the yard, safety, safety, safety. People could be out there picking up their newspaper. This is, you're trading pedestrians for people that actually live in these homes, is my point.
Mr. Albinsky?
Well, we're not saying you can't put bushes in front of your property. We're just saying where, and it's the village's right of way to control, so your bushes can be moved back. People can put up to a 2-foot high retaining wall in their front yard to protect it. So there's other means of doing it. We can't, I don't think we can look at all due respect to your situation, but we can't, because you have bushes there, we can't say, well, we have to throw the law out. A 4-foot dimension is a dimension of a sidewalk. That's where someone can walk, not 18 inches. If a car's coming along or a bicycle's riding and has to get up the road when they see somebody coming, they need that space. That's how, it wasn't an arbitrary number. And bushes can be moved and other things can be put in place to create the safety of what you consider a T intersection.
Just a thought, and then I'm assuming that's why you are here. But I understand the safety thing, obviously. I think when I think about, and having spent past few weekends walking door to door in Flower Hill, I can honestly tell you, there are so many exceptions that for this reason or that, and I'm not, right or wrong, like dogwood, that guy's, he refuses to cut that down, or in Mr. Smith's case, and I'll let him speak because I'm assuming, I don't want to assume anything, but public comment is later, but again,
No,
put those trees in.
He's going to speak on this local law. He sent
But
us a letter.
But his trees went in years ago. What do we do for the people that say, I put these in, or I put them in 3 years ago, and now whatever the tree is, you weren't counseled by your landscaper, and now they are within 2 feet, or when you run along Plandon Road and you cross the road by the train station, that's not us, but those trees that hang over, that's really dangerous. You can't really, they finally cut them, or the end of, Birch, what's that road that goes there with that, remember the corner thing where you couldn't see, there's no stop sign there and people couldn't see, and we nicely asked them, could you please cut these back so that an oncoming car, there's no stop on the other way. So there's going to be so many exceptions, but doesn't mean to throw the whole, to your point, to throw the whole law, but maybe
that's
what we're saying, there's a better compromise or something. Maybe
we're not
we need to.
looking to remove every piece of shrubbery within 4 feet. We're looking for our code enforcers to be able to have the ability to ask for compliance. And we're looking to have a safe off-ramp area for bicyclists, joggers, anybody. There are streets that are very tight. I'll use example Birch, where Mr. Smith's house is. That is an incredibly tight street there. Sorry, that Mr. Smith, not this Smith.
Not Mr. Smith, sorry, Mr.
This is,
Smith.
that's pointing to this Mr. Smith. And that street is very narrow. And if you happen to be a pedestrian and there happens to be, let's say, 2 landscaping trucks going in opposite directions, there is no safe area to go. In his case, his shrubs are actually growing over the curb. The only place you can walk safely is actually on the blacktop. You can't safely, without getting your eyes poked out, by going on to even the curb area. So it's about safety. I don't want somebody killed. I don't want someone hurt. And it's not to say blanket, we're going to remove all shrubs and all everything. It's to give our code enforcers the ability to work with the homeowners to make a safe spot for people.
I want to add too that, I don't know if you all noticed it, but a lot more people walk around the village.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more walkers, I think since COVID and so forth. Me driving around doing inspections, I just see more people walking, and I think with the lack of sidewalks, this is our way of trying to help that.
The street is our sidewalk.
Well, first of all, you get these women who walk, three abreast with traffic.
Yeah.
Like, what part of walking against traffic without your headphones on don't you get? But that's a me.
It's the phones, it's the headphones, it's the
Whatever.
conversation.
No, but they're like three abreast.
3 o'clock.
They like just will start wandering into the middle of the street.
Anyway,
Yelling
quite
into
well
their
taken.
phone about it.
Yeah, dogs.
So let me
Yeah,
go
like
on
the dog
record,
is
I
going
am
on.
for safety,
Good.
pedestrian safety. And I think I've always advocated for pedestrians.
You are the one who wants the
So-
walking path from here, from water to
Right.
water.
So
I'll
I'm
give you that.
not against the idea
From water to
of
water.
improving pedestrian safety, I'm for that. But I do think that, and I'm happy to hear that, we're gonna need to have some judgment involved with this. But let me just, last meeting, when I left the meeting, I just, on the way back home, I'm thinking, okay, that's not gonna pass muster, that's not gonna pass muster. And a lot of them were because it's natural, very common way of doing landscaping in suburbia is to put like bushes right at the head of your driveway. And so, but when I'm thinking about, okay, I got bushes on either side of the driveway, but the driveway is a perfect safe place. So is that the kind of thing that where we can say, okay, maybe, as long as you have interruptions in the plantings, that it's
not the singular shrub that's sitting there, that's not a problem, is not a problem. It's when you have a long hedgeway
right.
that doesn't give somebody any safe escape.
Then why don't we address it that way? You want me to vote for a statute that, first of all, I'm violating, and second of all, as a lawyer, I don't say to myself, well, let's make a law, but then ignore it sometimes. That's just not the way you do
But a lot
things.
of our code, AJ, is
I
open
understand
to,
it, but I'm
is open
just-
to interpretation.
And then your next
by
door
our
neighbor, you and your
code
neighbor have a fight, and your neighbor calls up and reports you, and now you are in violation of law. And then the board 10 years from now says, well, I gotta screw you because your neighbor called up on you.
So
So
we
I
have
can't
a lot
support
of,
that.
we have a lot of neighbor versus neighbor stuff here.
Yeah.
Not necessarily this. And
Well,
just because someone says you're in violation of X doesn't necessarily mean we're going to enforce it.
I mean, we can do whatever we want because it is the right of way. So,
It gives our code
but
officials a effective tool to get enforcement.
You
When
do- you do
somebody
need
is
a
not-
You do need a measurement, because otherwise, like you said, AJ, it's all, so if we say it's whatever, 4 feet, but then it's up to the discretion of the inspector or the code enforcer to determine if that infringement into the 4 feet is creating a dangerous situation, then he says, well, the code does say 4 feet, and this is a dangerous situation, so you have to do 4 feet. If it's just your house, where it's 2 feet, then the enforcer can, if there's no obvious safety hazard, then I don't think you have to summons people. I think it's only for situations where they've abused that 4-foot restriction to the point where it becomes dangerous.
I mean, are we saying 4 feet when a bush has reached maturity? Like, is that what the intent is? Like, and that it's trimmed back and.
Well, a lot of the situations have been created because things were planted when they were
Right.
this big, and now they're not any taller, but they're wider.
Yeah.
So when they were first planted, they were probably fine. But they were, then they weren't trimmed as time went on, and now they're saying, well, they're there,
All right. It's one of those.
But I don't know how much you want to leave to discretion. I mean, it's much easier for code enforcement if it's just a number and that's it. You can always have something that could be brought to a board or something like that, and you can write that into the ordinance that there are conditions that can be brought and reviewed, discretion of the situation. You may want to add that into the ordinance for special things.
Is that necessary, or isn't that just due process kind of thing at this point? I mean, would it be necessary to put that in?
Well, if it's in the code like that, I mean, I don't know that you want to have the onus of having to go through a zoning board process. Maybe it's before the trustees. Some things we have in there, discretion of the building superintendent. We have those different avenues in there for relief of things that maybe warrant discretion.
I just have a couple of thoughts that working with what we have. So staying with the one about all areas within 4 feet from the edge of the road, I mean, I do think that you want something that's enforceable, but I'm just wondering, and this may be subject to everybody taking another look. the way it's written, it says that you can't have plantings within 4 feet of the road. I mean, that is what it says. And to the extent that that might seem too harsh, it also then goes on to say or obstructions. So this could be modified so that it's not saying you can't have any plantings, it's just that you can't have obstructions that would be within 4 feet. But, I mean, I take the trustee's point, which is, what's the gauge? What's the actual end game that you're looking for? Is it to preclude anything? So we could modify it to take out any plantings within 4 feet, leave it at obstructions, and add what Mr. Ovinsky was just saying, which is the rule is you can't have something that obstructs within 4 feet from the edge of the road unless, in the building superintendent's discretion, this is not creating an obstruction. I mean, you might have, if you have a shrub that's higher, that might be something that's causing difficulty. But if you have a low shrub right along the line, it wouldn't. I'm just putting that out there.
What if there's
Either
a
way,
tree trunk
there-
within 3 feet of
Right.
the roadway? I mean, that, I don't think we would view that as an obstruction. You just get around it, right? I
don't
mean,
disagree.
we're not gonna start taking down trees just because
No.
they're within.
We might ask that the branches be trimmed.
I'm assuming that the crown of the tree's way up and that's just the trunk that's the obstruction.
Well, some trees have growth that
Right,
if you
right.
trim. Now, remember and I think the part that's missing when Marla was initially talking to me about this is also to prevent future issues for future boards. It's to stop people from planting something now that Peter was mentioning that in many years from now, or a few years from now, become a problem. So it stops the planting of things that are going to be a problem down the road. You're going to plant your green giant, which you don't realize is a green giant, X amount of feet away, and within 2 years, it's a green giant, and then it becomes a hazard for everybody. It's to give that buffer for new plantings, specifically with a lot of the new
Well, that's why
construction that we're going on
I
here.
asked the question.
I'm not looking to cut down any trees. We're looking just to make
Right.
things safe. A singular tree trunk is not going to be a problem. When there's a forest and they're all intertwined,
That's, I mean,
It's a moving target is the problem.
Mr.
Trees. and
Mr.
bushes.
Lewandowski's comment to me is, we don't want walls up against the sidewalk. But even one tree that's a green giant, if you're walking, it's not gonna prevent you from finding safe harbor from the roadway. You step on this side of the tree or you step on that side of the tree.
one will not, but a wall of greenery will.
But then why are we talking about fining somebody for one tree?
I'm not talking about fining anybody.
Yeah, you are.
This is not a.
All areas within 4 feet shall be clear of any planting or other obstructions. Any planting,
So you,
one tree is a violation.
our code is not necessarily, I don't think everything in our code violations are issued.
I don't
Fine.
think everything in.
Everything, I'm sorry, forget I talked to you, told you. Everything in our code, we do not issue fines. Our code enforcer in most instances has a nice conversation with the homeowner and tries to get compliance, gets compromise.
I think we could add in there the street trees that we actually like to have. You know, a street tree, not a wall of trees. But we do have street trees, some are close to the roads and so forth. That would be an exception, we probably should add it too there. But
That's a sure way.
Well, it's true that
Stopping
somebody who's
somebody.
enforcing is always going to have discretion. I do think, to hearing what board members are saying, in any event, this would need to be tweaked, given the comments of tonight I'm
Right.
just suggesting. I do think that removing the word planting, based on what Trustee Smith was just saying, the way it's written, he's correct. He's correct. If there's a tree sitting at the 4 foot mark, whether or not it would actually cause somebody to be obstructed, that's, as written, it's a violation. So then we're leaving it to code enforcement to exercise some discretion. I do think we could tweak that a bit so that what the village would be seeking to include is not any planting, it's obstruction caused by plantings. So if we change the language so that it's, if code enforcement goes by and they see 9 green giants lined up along the way and they're sticking out such that somebody really couldn't find safe harbor.
Right.
Then I think that's something that precludes safety. If it's one, and so I think it has, I would suggest that I would take another chance to rewrite it so that it takes that into account. So that you're not going to go after somebody for that one tree, or that one.
And that's not the goal of this at all.
Yeah, right, and then I
There
think
are
that-
plenty of single shrubs, that's not a
And the
problem.
other way to look at the tree that's close to the road, right, if you've seen places with sidewalks, they'll have the sidewalk go inboard around the tree.
Mhm.
So in that case, it may be more than 4 feet in order to clear around the tree behind it. You've seen that with sidewalks, and again, that's what we're trying to create the idea that somebody could walk to the side of the road. And with the tree, that's another way, either make it an exception or make it that they can go around the tree as they're walking.
Just spit on ideas. I mean, something along the lines of unreasonably unsafe for the passage of pedestrians or something like that. So that it's clear, because the way I read this is you're gonna be in village court fighting about whether they obstruct the passage of pedestrians. And that's a very, I just think one tree is a violation of that. I think if this is just tweaked to be such that it's not unreasonably, something along the lines of unreasonably dangerous for passage of pedestrians or something like that, then I'm okay with it.
Right,
Because I think then that one tree or my little line of bushes where no pedestrian is, I'm telling you, come to my house, no pedestrian is in danger's way because of my bushes. Because there's 5 of them, they're 4 feet apart from each other, and anytime you see a car, you have plenty of room to find a safe haven. In fact, if you go a little too far, you're gonna roll down my hill, which is probably more dangerous than jumping onto the sidewalk. I took a picture of a house here today, I don't have it, it's on my phone. But they have a line of not a line of bushes, they have like 2 giant bushes next to a fire hydrant, which is also within 4 feet of the road, because it's at the end of one of these T intersections, and they don't want people driving into their house. But I think that they've left space for people that are walking. I would not feel endangered as a pedestrian being in front of that house.
right. So what I was suggesting in terms of taking a shot at reworking it, is to, first I was saying to remove the word planting, so we're a little more open to obstruction. I can then include something that talks about unreasonable, but arguments are that sometimes seems vague. But the way this is gonna play out is if code enforcement does really feel that there's an obstruction that's unreasonable, they're gonna take a photograph of it.
Right.
That's what we're gonna see in village justice court, and there's gonna be a discussion about, here's why we think this is causing the problem. But I think in an ideal world, we can also include in there that obstruction unreasonably causing, an unsafe circumstance for a passerby, unless in the discretion of the building superintendent, they believe it appropriate to remain.
See,
I can work on that, and then, just so you're aware, once the building superintendent gets involved, under the village law, if somebody disagrees with the call of the building superintendent, they go to board of zoning. But I think what everybody's saying is, the bottom line is you wanna make sure the passersby are safe. So, I think working with what everybody's saying is try to tweak this a bit, so that it's not overly broad, knocking out every planting, but also make sure that it's keeping it safe for those.
I do just want to be sure that we can take care of the most egregious cases, right?
Right.
That's the real.
That's what this is about. This is not about going after the singular shrub.
Right, but that's
not
one.
bothering.
But my problem is,
Or trustees.
the way it's written, anything within the 4 feet could arguably be a violation.
Okay,
And I think that's a
we can fine tune that. I wish we had that from last month. That would be faster this month. That's okay.
Try to make those changes.
I'm gonna open up to the public. Mr. Smith, do you want to speak to us?
Thank you.
You should give the court reporter your name and address, please.
Yes, Neil Smith, 45 Old Road.
I didn't,
And
Neil
over
Smith.
there, Yeah,
Fine, Old Road,
Walden Road.
108 Birch Lane, 112 Birch Lane. So, first of all, I have to say, I don't think you all are contentious enough because there aren't enough people here to sort of come and listen. But I just want to thank you for taking this seriously because it's pretty clear that's what you're all doing. And this is a full, serious conversation, and it's just good to see that. My concerns, and admittedly a little selfish because it's my own property. My concerns are that I have an egregious planting that is structurally egregious. If there's a choice, then I would do anything at all to comply with removing any obstruction that I can to create safety, because we're all in the village together and we want to do the right thing for all of the villagers. But my own properties, and thank you for visiting and knowing where I am. appreciate
I made sure I went today instead of just looking at the Google images. And I've been by your property a million times,
Yeah,
but I wanted to go today just to see the
Yeah,
most
thank you.
recent.
I appreciate that. I have one property on which the planting is within 4 feet of the road, and then I have another property right next door to it. And what I did there was plant trees 10 feet back. So my property's tree line sort of goes like that and in. And if I had the choice over again, of course, on my property that's the Bolton Road address, I would push the trees further back. But these trees are now, mature, been there since 1997. When I planted them, those were the days when the building inspector would actually come and advise you on what you're planting. He advised me on the variety and where they were planted back in 1997. There was no thought at that stage to push them any further back. I complied and tried to comply at all stages. And I think there is just one other thing that you as trustees, as the board, should also consider. It's a little different on corner properties because you do need to have a row of trees just to provide not just the privacy but the security. The one time that one of the trees came down, I actually found intruders in my backyard who on the cameras came through the break in the trees. So believe me, it does provide security as well, and that's important. Now, you may well say, and you should say, yeah, but on corner lots that has to be pushed back. So it should. But unfortunately, I'm in the position where if I have to, remove and replant these trees, it's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars to do that, to put mature trees back in place. And I would do anything I can to sort of improve safety. And, when you were there, one of the things I could potentially do is create a tunnel. So you may actually want a height restriction on this as well, because, if the protrusion is actually higher than people, then maybe that doesn't matter as much as otherwise. And I think also, thinking through how you would do it on corner lots, it is very difficult to have that space between the bushes because that defeats the purpose. The other just a couple of observations. I think you need to make it very clear what the rules mean and what is a corner and what is not a corner. So, for example, does the corner just the apex, or does it stretch around the whole way? Is the 30 feet from the apex of the corner, or you sort of need to figure out, I think, exactly where that is, so that it's as you said, Trustee Smith, it's perfectly clear. You can't have any ambiguity, I don't think, about sort of what you mean. But my request to you would be that you consider grandfathering in some of those trees that are already planted, providing they don't cause an obstruction. Right?
I think in your case, so I'm a corner property owner as well. So I understand the hell of living on a corner sometimes. walking by your house today, so your newer set of shrubs are perfect. They are beautiful. They're set back. They're trimmed properly. There's a wonderful stopping area where you don't have a problem. Your older shrubs, and I don't think, I'm just going to speak for myself. I don't think they have to be removed. I just think they need to be pruned back. You cannot even walk on the curb by your house without the branches hitting. So your concept of a tunnel sounds very good in this case. I just want to make sure that people have an area to get off the road and be safe. And if it's 8 feet up, we don't have too many very tall basketball players here. It should be fine. But look, the sticks and all the things that you have growing out on the road now, that's a hazard. And this isn't the law against your property. There's plenty of other properties that have similar types of situations. And it's to not be punitive. It's to just ensure the safety. It's to work with you on a pruning plan where you can prune back a lot of the dead, I don't want to call them limbs, whatever you want to call them, branches. There's nothing growing on them right now.
No,
They're arborvitaes, but there's nothing growing on them.
in April time, the code enforcer
Mhm.
sent me a letter, and immediately I got my arborist there to actually.
Oh, I was well aware of what happened
And
between you and
he
them.
signed off on it at that stage, so.
Right.
You know,
I'm
it
sorry,
needs-
I didn't get that deep.
He signed off on the amount, he was there the day that the arborist was actually cutting back, and he said that was okay. But obviously, if it requires more, and you know, the code also thinks it requires more, of course I'll be the first to do that. I mean, I don't want to create an issue in the village. I've lived here 30 years, I love it here. I've got more trees in my backyard than most. I've got a full-time gardener. I'm one of the only few people here, I think, who just have a full-time gardener because, and I hate to say it, I'm a little biased, but I'm more in favour of green than I am of concrete. So maybe I transgress a little too far.
And you also have your certified garden in the front of your house. So that's a very positive sign. What's it, wildlife? What do you call it exactly?
It's the Wildlife Trust that
Yeah.
actually comes and inspects and gives you a certificate. And I actually saw a coyote, by the way, last night. So just have to be aware they're around.
Yes, we're aware of the coyotes. Yes.
And Fox.
But anyway, I know you guys will do the right thing by the village. I just hope that it doesn't mean that I have to spend thousands of dollars replanting.
I don't think we're looking to have you remove all of those. Are they used? What are they exactly? I don't know
Well,
what.
they're a combination.
Oh, okay.
Pines and otherwise.
So I'm not looking.
It's 3 of one and 3 of the other, which is exactly what Paul told me back in 1997.
So we're just
It's
looking.
not just one constant tree.
Oh, they're
it's
different kinds.
varieties.
We're just looking for the safety. We're not looking for you to remove them. We're looking for them to be pruned back. And anyone else who has the same situation. Just
And
looking.
The way the code's drafted, just so you're aware, and obviously we're looking at it further, but it does say that it doesn't apply to existing trees, provided that the branches, it says are no closer than 6 feet to the ground.
Okay.
So, you know, we can look at that one as well, but I think the idea was, I think consistent with what you were just saying, which is, nobody's saying you've got to get rid of an existing tree. The idea is people should be able to walk by and maybe that's proven, that's,
Yeah.
you know, no less. So, from what you said, I haven't seen the trees, it sounds like that may work well for you.
But they're closer than 4 feet to the road.
That part's being looked at. That part we've already discussed, the board has asked it to be reworked. I was talking about your concern about having existing trees on a corner property. So
Yeah.
that section, I think, includes and allows what you have.
Hmm.
The next section.
I don't know, Jeff, because this is the visibility at intersections, and the use and arborvitae in question are not they're not at the corner of Mr. Smith's property. They're further along.
That's right. There's a very mature yew actually in a cluster of bushes that are actually set back from the road as well. I've got 2 issues. One is, you know, the hedge, as I call it, on the road. The other one is a cluster of trees which contains a very old yew tree. But that's probably, I'm guessing, about 15 feet from the corner.
So we have 2 issues.
Yeah.
There's the corner, and then there's the hedge. You have to be a corner property, but that hedge is not on the, it's at the street line, but it's not at the actual corner that section 2 is talking about. So perhaps we move,
And the corners are a much bigger problem.
perhaps we move that part about the 6 feet. We duplicate it so that it's in its own.
Corners
Sorry.
are a much bigger problem because it's not just pedestrians, it's cars. I mean, we live in a village where stop signs are not enforced, so people don't stop at stop signs. So there are a lot of incidents where cars come out of through an intersection, you don't see them because there's hedges. And, you know, so this also applies to safety behind the wheel.
As well, we agree.
Good, thank you for.
I would just like the record to reflect that Mr. Smith and I are not related as far as I know. And I find it amazing that there's another Smith in the village of Flower Hill.
It's very
It's very rare.
It's very
And that's
rare.
such a thing might happen, but nice to meet you, sir.
Right. So,
Well, by his accent, we can tell he's obviously from New Jersey.
I didn't hear you say that.
And just one question about the definition of the corner. It is clearly identified that it's the straight line intersection of the two streets, so it doesn't take into account the
that's what we
curve.
said.
Stop, Sean, let's
The
move.
curve.
So you
It's
used to say
where
that all the
if you
time.
took the
This
two
guy,
streets
first other side.
and formed a straight line from each of them, that's the point that you go back to 30 feet.
All right, it sounds like I'm going to, we're going to do some extra work on this. So I'll make a motion to continue this to the December, it's not the 1st.
I thought you changed it to the 8th.
We did, Marla, it's December 8th.
Yeah.
The December 8th Board of Trustees meeting. Do I have a second on the
I will second
continuance?
that motion.
Mr. Smith, the trustee, not the resident, I mean, not the person.
I'll leave momentarily. All confusion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. You can stay, but safe travels. I know you're leaving the country shortly.
Just give me one thing.
Sorry, this one.
This discussion.
All right, proposed local law L. This is to, so currently, as we know as a board, our code, by Mr. Smith, our code allows decorative fences in a resident's front yard by special approval of the Board of Trustees. So my belief in talking to some trustees from that time frame is that at the time, the board truly intended this for post and rail. Is that the proper term?
I think so, yeah.
It was primarily for post and rail fences because some residents in parts of our village had post and rail fences, and that's what they used for purely decorative purposes. And I believe that residents are now using that section of the code to try to put gates, or we'll call them decorative gates, in front yards. So I truly believe that when this part of the code was written 20 odd years ago, it really wasn't intending to do what's happening now with decorative fences. So what I'm looking here to do is to change the code and remove the word decorative fences out of the code and let it go back to zoning where it truly belongs. That's fine. Does anybody? any
I
tr-
just
oh,
want to make, because I wasn't here last, so is it continuation of last, did you bring this up last month?
We did
Meeting I
not.
wasn't here.
No, we
Oh,
did
okay.
not.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't miss,
And
I didn't want to ask something that had already been
No.
asked.
And no, and actually, we don't need to continue this next month. We can vote on it right
Okay,
now if we
so-
choose to.
So just question for
Sure.
just my own edification. So to be rewritten, so all the language, so it'll say a no fence shall be erected in a front yard of any property. So whether it's post and rail, whether it's the guy that on the corner of,
No fence.
so
If people-
whatever we approved 2 months ago for that guy, it would not
Stays.
cut mustard, right?
So that, anything that was previously approved.
Yeah,
gets
no,
to
that I
stay.
know. Had it
Go-
been,
Going forward, it would be a zoning issue.
so it would not come to us.
Affirmative. It never should have come to us. It's just the way this code was
So
written.
what, okay, so what you're saying is then from now on, as opposed to us being the, you know,
Arbiter of
arbiters,
fences.
and
That was never the intention of the
So it
code.
would go zoning, then they would make a recommendation based on your recommendation.
Well, they would,
Well, they
they
would
would,
approve it.
No,
they
there's no
would make a decision.
provision anymore.
Oh, it would never come to us.
No,
Yep, Wendy's getting too many people.
It's starting to get a little, I've been hanging in there, guys.
So if
20
somebody,
pages worth, but it's getting rough.
somebody would put in an application to put in a fence in the front yard, and then Mr. Obenski would presumably deny it, and then the applicant would have the opportunity to seek a variance through the Board of Zoning Appeals. But it would not come to the Board of Trustees.
Okay,
we're not putting in that equation whether it's decorative fence or not. Where it was before,
Just
it was,
fence.
if it was deemed a decorative fence by the Board of Trustees, it would be allowed. So we're taking that section out of that A under 119.1 and just leaving the first sentence as that no fences are allowed in the front property line. So if I get an application that comes in for anything in front of the house, it's just gonna be a denial letter and it goes through the process of the zoning board.
so, okay, so I'm just trying to understand before I vote. So, for instance, Country Club was a safety issue, right? It was a gate, and then it complied with, so we had to have it so that it was a decorative, right? So that at night, he does actually close the gate, and it's a deterrent for somebody going in to steal his 2 cars, right? Because he lives right off of Fort Boulevard. He was denied, would he have been denied just outright? Even if it was a safety?
I can't speak for the board, but in that case, I think he was referred to the trustees because that was an avenue that he could go. The board itself, the zoning board might have weighed in it, positive, negative, I don't know. But they knew, based on what I told them in the code, that he had that avenue of the decorative fence to come before this board.
So that's why that avenue was taken, instead of going.
But the
first.
First
So if you're
Avenue
asking
he
if
went
they
to,
would- if
in
they
other words,
would-
the First Avenue he went to, even though it was safety, which took about 5 months, right, for him to, 6 months to get through, would have been no, and he'd have no recourse. Is that right? So once the zone, it would never have come to us.
The 6 months you're saying was he withdrew it and never came back. That wasn't we taking that time, the village.
Well, the meetings were canceled, there was some other stuff that happened, whatever. My point is, he goes to the zoning board to safety, they say no. And then the guy that we had 2 months ago, you know, with his $7 million house, with the gate that he had to change to where the, whatever, the only gate on that road, a corner fence, not only a gate fence, right, but because it's been covered up by landscaping, that was deemed to be okay
By the
So-
zoning board,
by the zoning board.
yes.
No, that was.
No, it was us.
He
Not
came
by
to
us.
us.
No, she's talking about the fence,
The
not,
fence.
the fence
The fence
was
on a corner
approved by the
lot.
zoning board.
We've had fences, we've had other fences on corner lots that have been approved by the zoning board.
So,
It was the gate.
It was the
That
gate that came
oh,
before
but
you.
isn't part of this, I mean, he's got a corner lot, so does this not apply to any corner lot this doesn't apply? So it says no fence should be erected in a front yard, presumably, he's got
Corner lot-
he has to have a front yard, his house
It's 2
faces
front yards.
Bonnie
A corner
Heights.
lot
Two
has
front
two
yards.
front yards.
So the way this reads, then he would not have made it past the zoning committee.
Who are we talking about? The
I'm
he.
talking about the end of Bonnie Heights and
Knowles.
Hassett Woods.
So he went to zoning, I thought I said this right. He went to zoning, he got approved for the fence part of it, that enclosed his side back front yard. They didn't weigh in on the gates, they went to you because they had the avenue of the decorative.
No, I get this. What I don't understand is, would this, I'm trying to wrap my arms around, had this been in effect then, right? Then the zone, so the way I read this, he goes to the zoning, he doesn't even go for an application because we're saying no fences. So
Right.
unless he applies for a
It would
variance,
just go to the zoning board for a variance in the front yard.
it wouldn't have been just because it was a corner, it was automatically approved because it was
You
a
took the
corner.
whole decorative fence thing
Time
out
out,
of
time
it.
out, time out.
Please.
When everyone's going too fast for Wendy.
Oh, sorry.
That's all.
I think I'm just, maybe I'm stupid, I'm not an architect, but I'm not understanding how this is written, like, who it applies to and who it doesn't.
I'll say it again. what we're proposing here is to take out any notion of a decorative fence being judged as decorative fence and complying through this board as it was. So
Okay,
we're taking out the decorative fence issue. They would have to go with any fence in the front yard. Corner lot has 2 front yards. If any fence is forward of the house, that's a front yard. It would have to go to the zoning board. It would just be denied. The zoning board can weigh many factors. They could weigh safety factors, they could weigh aesthetic factors, and that's for them to determine.
So there's no blanket yes or no. It would be, it's up to the zoning board. So if you have a corner house and you go to the zoning board and you make your argument, like, you know, like you would at any zoning board, you make your argument for why you feel that you should be excluded from
this law.
that code. Yeah. The zoning board can say no. They can say yes. They can negotiate with you and put it a few feet back. So then it just doesn't come to us. It's just
Okay.
reported at the
So
meeting.
this isn't us being more as a reaction to the increase in, you know, in fence, gate, decorative fence.
Right.
Is this in reaction to that to make it clear to
It's
people, like, we don't want fences?
No,
And so,
it never should have,
It never
it's
should have come
always
to
a
us.
zoning, it's always a zoning issue.
Right.
So
Okay.
it should be handled by the BZA.
I
right?
think it was-
Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong.
Mary Jo, I think it was done because at the time, by your area, there was a lot of posting rail fences. Your area is all posting rails.
All
You used to have even more.
Yeah.
Most of the
Country
houses, right, on Country
It's all the
Club,
horses too.
it was many,
Right.
many posting rail.
Right.
I believe at the time, that was,
Yeah.
this code was put in so that those homeowners didn't have to go to zoning to keep their post and rail
Or
fences.
stockade, there were stockade fences.
Okay.
I always call
So
it.
now everybody
Well, stockade,
goes to
post and
zoning,
rail are
and
the-
zoning just.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that the intention of this code 20 plus years ago people have changed the
Right.
depth, the application of it. That was never what the code was
I
meant
found
to
a
do.
loophole. Is this the entirety of the section 119-1 then?
It's no different than ongoing ones in one.
Section-
BZA for towns and that.
1, 2, I'm kind of confused on it. But is this the entirety of it? Like, there's no other things written about, or is this part of a bigger, broader?
I'm just pulling up one now.
Because in some regards, this fence seems light. Is there other things that are
It's
fencing?
just, that's just showing what changed. It's really that page that
So it's
changed.
just this page, but there are other things regarding fences.
Well,
Yeah.
but, so the 119
What?
dash 1A,
Yeah.
that is the whole, that is everything that is said about fences in the front yard. The code does go on to talk about fences on corner lots, to the
Right.
extent that corner lots will be deemed to be fronting on 2 or more streets and shall be deemed to have a front, 2 front yards.
Right,
And then it talks about the distance that will need there needs to be between fences and side yards. But if we're talking about, the short answer to what you said is yes, that's everything that's talked about in terms of a fence being.
There's more to that
Got it.
section.
That code is like where
There's
you
the heights and everything.
Fences on
Okay,
the
I just want to make sure I understood that, okay. So this is specifically about no fence shall be erected in the front yard.
Right.
And so why is there authority, and so I don't understand why these other sections follow?
Oh, you mean section 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so that just notes why this board has the authorization to adopt this type of local law.
Got it.
That's section 2. Section 3 is that,
Oh,
is sort of a
okay,
pro forma that if.
I got it, I misunderstood,
Yeah, if you
okay.
look at-
I misinterpreted.
If
Yeah.
you look at every one of our codes, it always ends,
Got
any new local law always ends with sections 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, all right, got it, understood. Thank you for that
So we
clarification.
can vote on that.
Any other questions from the trustees?
So just one other question then.
Sure.
I guess you kind of addressed it, when you talked about front yard. So it does place a little bit a greater hardship on a corner lot, particularly if they want a pool. But to your point, I guess, unless they come forward from the face of the house fronting that street. They'll be-
Right, we've had, I think, including that one on Bonnie Heights recently, there's been 2 others that, since I've been here, that we've granted corner lots so they could use their backyard, and then we also, as part of the zoning decision, provided for screening, and in this case, fence setback screening in front, but to get use of a corner lot.
Right.
We have addressed
Wait, a
that,
fence that backs, reading the what?
but the screening in front of the
Yeah,
fence.
I just want to make sure there's no confusion between what this says and when we're giving some leeway to corner lots.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So the idea is that corner lots will have 2 front yards.
Yep.
So they would, by definition, not be allowed to have a fence in either of those front yards. But the same thing would happen as with any other front yard. Peter Novinsky would receive the application from somebody saying, I'm on a corner lot, in order to be able to put a pool where I need to put a pool, and often people will say, I'm on a corner lot and I have kids and
Right.
they want to be able to use, that's the biggest part of our yard, quite frankly. So we want to be able to use that. And Mr. Novinsky would say, well, I have to deny it because you're in the front yard. And then we'll go to the Board of Zoning Appeals. And the Board of Zoning Appeals, as opposed to this board, then has a series of criteria that they're going to look at. And presumably in that section, they will go through those criteria. Does this have an impact on the surrounding neighborhood? Can we do something to lessen any impact? Can we mitigate
So
against?
the Bonnie Heights had that issue too, right?
It is the only property on that street with a fence.
Yeah.
Right, but the argument was the same. They wanted a usable yard,
That's correct.
even though they had.
No, his thing was the elevation and it looked nicer.
He just wanted the
And
gate.
he
Let's face
changed,
it.
he changed
No,
the
that's
entrance.
immaterial to what we're
He just
talking about.
wanted a gate.
No, he got his variance for the fence. There's 2
Right.
things.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He got a variance for a fence on a corner lot.
Right.
And then there were different circumstances and stipulations. It had to be an estate fence. There had to be a certain amount of screening instead of being a white PVC fence, because I know how we love white PVC fences
Thank
here.
you, zoning board.
So instead, it's a nicer fence, and zoning board control that. The second issue is the gate.
Right.
That is what he came here for relief.
Which I
We
believe
didn't give them the fence.
was
We gave them the gate.
misrepresented to
Yeah.
be
The
for
fence was
security.
granted
of
by the
structures, even though.
That was mine.
All right, forget it.
I don't know.
If I may,
That was the
the
case
court
that was.
reporter from the-
Zoning gave them the fence.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
All right. Are there any questions from the public? Seeing none, I would like to make a motion to pass local law L, amending code section 119 fence requirements. I'm also going to make a motion to do SECRA. This is a type 2 action for the purposes of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, or SECRA. I move that the village be identified as lead agency and that this action be deemed a type 2 action under SECRA, having no significant impact on the environment, and that as such, no further action is required under SECRA. Do I have a second for both?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Janice. All in favor? Aye. Any
I'm
abstain?
abstaining. Yeah, abstain.
And is there a reason?
Do I have to give one?
I'm just asking.
No, abstaining.
Okay. And it passes. The next is local
Just
law.
letting know the time.
The last one is local law M, no parking Port Washington Boulevard. Part of our code does not adequately cover the portions of Port Boulevard that currently has no parking signs, specifically by St. Francis Hospital,
South of it or?
in the general area of St. Francis Hospital.
And just to clarify, this one was placed on here, this is the first time on the board doesn't have a section because there need to be some measurements.
I don't-
started looking. There need to be some measurements before we can put together the language, because the measurements will say how far along Port there's going to be a no parking area. So that will be included for the board to consider in another hearing.
It's not adding anything
So
new.
there's nothing proposed in writing right now.
That is correct.
So far I support it for sure.
And it would only be the crab apple, right? Because then it's Muncie Park after that.
It's wherever the existing village signage is, and I don't have the measurement.
But it's not gonna prevent all the hospital workers from parking all the way down Washington Boulevard. Will it? Like they park from Crab Apple all the way down Muncie
So
Park.
the
sometimes
current portions where there's no parking, this is to put it back in our code where it belongs.
But that's not our village.
If it's,
We can't change Muncie Parks. That's
we are
Muncie
not
Park.
looking to change Muncie Parks. We're looking to put into code our current no parking signs on Port Boulevard.
Is that by like the art guild, like when the art guild has their members, they don't
Yeah,
have
but
enough
where-
parking and they park all along.
All right, I will be blunt to everybody. There are signs there right now on Port Boulevard. Those signs are not in our code. We cannot enforce that no parking.
Right.
So now the whole world, it knows they can park there. So
Oh, so it is when Mary Jo.
it's where everything now is no parking. For some reason, it's never been
Can
in
you
our
just
code.
mention a road? Like what, is it by Oakdale? Is it by
Rich,
the art field?
where does it go from where to where? Approximately?
It's north of St. Francis Hospital.
Yeah, you want a little bit.
It can't be south because we don't have anything south.
Nothing on that side.
Who's speaking?
Apologies.
Rich, Falcones,
Right here.
Oh, okay.
This
This
is
is
the
the
art field.
staff. This is Muncie Park. Oh, so like here.
Yeah.
So between Oak Tree and Bonnie Heights, basically. Okay. So you're talking about here, right? I know.
Just figure it out so my son doesn't get a ticket because he just started working.
It literally goes from.
Tell me where.
No. I'm not-
Mama doesn't want to be.
Where's the hospital? Pretty much,
So by the art field.
it's all of this, where there's no parking now, up to past Crab Apple.
So when there's an event at the art guild, they wouldn't do it.
Anytime there's an event at the Art Guild, for the last 20 years, we've been working with them. That we give them a waiver for all
Gotcha.
Art Guild events. It is to prevent the hospital workers and guests from inundating Port Boulevard with cars.
Well,
Which
they
the
do, but
sign,
if
the
we have
signs
nothing-
the signs have been there for I don't know how many decades, but they are for whatever reason not in our code.
Right, because most
So
of
I
them
am
are- most of them park-
rectifying that situation.
Most park between Crab Apple and Park. Like that whole area is just lined up with cars during the day, but that's because there's not enough parking on campus. You know, unless they
But
build a parking
so-
garage.
So that's
or
not this
something like
argument.
that.
This argument is to legalize the no parking signs that are currently on Port Boulevard, so that any tickets that are issued can
We
be
get it
enforced.
cut.
It has
Are
nothing
we-
to do with the cut. It has
Oh.
everything to do with enforcing the traffic
we-
laws on Port
Who
Boulevard.
do we think are the offenders?
I can't tell you who they would be, but they're either
Is that thing?
I never noticed cars
visitors.
there unless there's an art guild.
They're either visitors by the hospital. You say it's either visitors or employees.
By the art guild.
Only if there's an event.
All it is to put what we all thought was in the code in the code.
But does anybody ever park there? I've never seen a car.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Really? By like that little commercial
So there
medical
are-
building? by-
So the police cannot enforce the law if the law is not on our books. We've had people parking there recently
Hmm.
who have figured out that it's not in our code. If we want to continue to allow that, we will not update the code. If we want to put this in the code, then we will prevent people from parking on Port Boulevard.
Are we giving out a warning?
We don't issue those violations, the police do.
No. I'm saying it's being good neighbors. Are we giving out a warning?
To who?
It
To
should go in the
the
main.
hospital, I guess.
Gary, those signs have been there for at least 20 years.
Yeah, and no one has, obviously, no one's paying attention.
Well,
It's like the
Well, now
stop.
they will.
It's like the stop signs.
Okay, fine, if that's the way you want to, okay, fine. Okay. I just was asking.
The stop signs have been there for 50 years. Nobody pays attention.
That's true.
I'm always going to
Sorry?
revert back to stop signs. So
we are, Peter, we can do this on a state
it's my
road.
personal crusade. My tombstone.
We can do this on a state road, question mark? It's a road through the.
Mr. Belinkoff did the research on this. We are allowed to enact no parking restrictions on that road.
Peter looks like he's being punished. He's sitting there like in no soul shed.
Because my timeout chair.
All right.
I'm putting that.
I am going to make a motion to hold the first public hearing on this law at the December 8th Board of Trustees meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to make a motion to end the public hearing portion of this
I'm
meeting.
sorry, Mr. Mayor, it's just been a long night. Who seconded that?
Aye.
Thank
Smith.
you.
Not the other Mr. Smith, this one.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
And I'm making a motion at 8:06 to end the public hearing portion of this meeting.
I will second it.
That would be Trustee Lewandowski. All in favor?
Aye.
Goodbye, Wendy. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful
Thank
Thanksgiving.
you for,
Thank you too.
for hanging in there with us.
Public comment.
Everybody.
Seeing no people from the public here, we will strike that. Has anyone had a chance to read the October 2025 meeting minutes? And if so, does anybody have any comments or changes? That being no, I will make a motion to approve the October 6, 2025 Board of Trustee meeting minutes. Seconded by,
I'll second.
thank you, Deputy Mayor Janice. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Can I say aye if I wasn't here?
I would probably say if you weren't,
Yeah,
Jeff,
because you're just reviewing.
if Mary Jo wasn't at the meeting, should she approve the minutes or not?
Well, if you're familiar with it.
What?
If you're familiar with what occurred at the meeting.
Yeah. Oh, okay, aye.
Then
Just
that's fine.
asking.
Okay, no, I didn't, I'm asking for clarification because I didn't know. New business, I'd like to get a resolution to hold our village election on Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. Oh, sorry, I jumped ahead. Oh, sorry, I missed the treasurer's report. Okay. Has everyone had a chance to read the treasurer's report? I know I have. I'd like to make a motion to approve the expenditure of $479,314.25. A large amount of this money includes the Port Washington Fire Department. That's $190,000. That's their half of the year. And that's the big item that we would not see on a monthly basis.
What's the other fire, the volunteer exempt firefighters benevolent, 26,000?
Foreign fire tax that gets filtered through the village, and we have to send out the money to the fire departments. There are 3 within the village, and the money gets divided amongst them.
So that's in addition to what we pay
We don't
in
pay,
the lowest?
the state gives the money to the village.
Oh, gotcha.
And then the village just filters it out.
I thought when I saw foreign, I thought it was like foreign countries.
Yeah, this is on every year we have this.
Gotcha.
It shouldn't be foreign to you.
Very funny.
All right, so I'm going to make the motion for that dollar amount. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Max isn't here, so he won't abstain on Art of Landscaping. That passes. Okay, I'd like to make a resolution to hold a village election on Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. It's not a Tuesday. Do we know why?
Because the 17th is St. Patrick's Day.
I was waiting for AJ.
I support the fact that I'll be really hungover on election day.
When I was a kid, my parents used to tell me that you're not allowed to have election day on St. Patrick's Day because everybody will be drunk.
That's fair.
And I believed it up until now that I heard it again. Obviously it's true, but
There you go.
they really move it for St. Patrick's?
Yes, it is part of, I guess that's state law. Yeah, it's part of state law. It's rare that it happens, but I learned something new. All right, so I'm gonna make that resolution. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Collins, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, excellent. Next, I'm going to make a resolution to appoint Matthew Weinberg as the alternate member to the Zoning Board of Appeals. We are a little short on ZBA membership, so we need to add another alternate to make sure that we are able to conduct our meetings in a timely manner.
And we just gave him all the fences too.
Yeah, I warned him before he joined.
Okay.
All right, so I'm making that motion. Can I second it by?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. All in favor? Aye, thank you. Next, our new logo. So we've been wanting a new logo for this village for quite a while. We tried to get a local artist to help us, and unfortunately he was booked and he was unable to help us. a local resident who we all know, but I'm not going to call his name out publicly, Jay Bieber. And Jay was too busy.
Well, too busy with what?
I don't know.
Walking down in front of my house?
Jay's been
4 hours
I've
a
been-
day.
Jay, if you're watching, sorry, but
We
I've been
we
trying
love
to get,
Jay.
I've been
right?
trying to get Jay to help me out.
Yeah, come on, Jay.
He canceled enough times that Marla was able to find a young graphic artist who was able to take input on our current logo, look at what other villages doing, and understand what the village is all about. And by doing that, she came up with a bunch of designs. And thank you, Marla, for working closely with the designer. And we came up with what we thought is the best solution. I'll hold up the color versions. I mean,
Did
if I
you
change
tap-
this.
Did you try ChatGPT?
So
You're laughing, but
No,
I'll
I'm not.
apologize.
no, you said, here's our logo, here are the trees that we have. Could you suggest a, I'm
You
just,
know, ChatGPT does do that, and we
I
did
know,
not
that's
think
why I
to
said
do.
I'm not
We did
kidding.
not. Yeah, we did not think to do.
why
it.
not?
Oh, I tried it. The
I'll
first
bet you
round
know.
with Mitchell. I sent
No, if
him-
you say like, what are the flowers that we're trying to
I said
include?
create,
Are there colors? Could, here's.
Yeah.
I said create a logo with the colors
Yeah, I like this.
of plants in the village of Flower Hill, New York. And I gave them all to Mitchell.
Oh no, that's one we looked at 2 years ago,
yeah.
and that's how long we've been waiting for
Yeah,
Jay to help
yeah.
us.
So the
Yes.
fun thing about this logo is you stare at the color one for
Yeah.
2 minutes and you look at the black and white and the color pops out.
So we try to make it clean. We try to make it easy to read, especially if we need to shrink it down to Frank's favorite size, a button that you can
Okay.
actually read it.
Yeah, we can actually get a button now with like a nice
There you
gold trim.
It has our year of incorporation. It's Clear Village of Flower Hill. And why do we have 3 dogwoods? This is a test for.
Mitchell.
Because there's 3 villages.
Oh my God, Mary Jo, it's like
There's
It's
I read
great.
the email.
3
Yes.
I read this
hamlets.
stuff.
Yes, so instead of having 1 flower like we have here, we decided to do 3 to represent
Why-
3
Why
areas.
is one blue? Because there's no such thing as a blue dogwood blossom.
Well, according to the internet, there is.
It's all the Democrats in
So
Roslyn.
if it's on it,
It's in that little section, that's why it's behind.
it's a joke. Come on. That's right.
I will say that as a son of Emerald Isle, and the fact that St. Patrick used the shamrock to denote 3 in 1, the idea of 3 plants for 1 village is a tremendous idea, and I give full props to the people. that
I like that idea. Kidding about the flower color, obviously.
So,
No, we-
how does this translate into a welcome sign to the village? And how does this translate to other
Need new welcome.
materials?
Need new welcome signs.
So the goal, we're going to roll this. So if we're looking at the logo rollout, we're going to roll this out on as most cost effective basis as possible. So anytime we have new materials that need to be printed, envelopes, letterhead, various forms that are actually printed, we'll switch to the new logo.
Yeah.
When it comes to our street,
Yeah, but this logo is just a logo. I'm saying, like, how does that translate to a
Sign.
sign? Because then I don't think, are we doing a circle sign?
Could be square and say welcome to.
Square with the circle in it.
Most villages have circular logo. A lot of villages have
Most.
circular. Yeah.
so I'll give you, if you looked outside at the one that's under the flagpole, and it says Village of Flower Hill, you don't have to. But instead of just being that big flower there, we would replace
So
that flower
Gary,
in that sign
yeah.
with that. That's all it was.
So we're not changing the fonts with the little feet on them and stuff, right? But Gary, if you would like, I am in possession of a graphic that shows every village logo within 100-mile radius.
Well, it's not 100. It's like low.
After the mayor yelled at
I'm
me
just saying.
saying we don't need New York on our logo.
I was trying to make it simpler.
He had so much
This
free
is-
time that
this
day
is-
that he
No.
went to every website.
No, I did that as we were doing the project.
I love it. It's so
This is
cool.
what I gave Jay that. Mitchell
great.
had it. I gave it to our artists. So anybody involved in this process has had.
It's really interesting
logo
to see
sheet.
all the other
All right,
village
so
logos.
let me just, a couple of comments. I
Sure.
think we should consider something other than white as a background. I think white is kind of, the black and white is.
I'm not looking to micromanage this process. I think Marla and the graphic
Okay.
designer did a really good job on this.
Well,
And we had chance in
Okay.
the last 2 years for people to, like, Frank helped at one point, and unfortunately, Jay never rolled with what we were.
Well, were there other
Put Jay's
ideas
minutes in
besides a
there.
white background, I guess is what I'm asking, Marla?
No, there were different color rings.
Okay.
I can show you some of them later, but we had.
No, I can understand why you would have kept with the
Red,
black,
pink
I, like, but if you look at a lot of the, like, cause white on white, so if this was like a pale yellow on white
I'm thinking
sheet,
yellow
would,
too.
you know, or something, I'm just saying that there would be higher contrast of the logo
I have
against a
trouble
white
with
background,
how
which is
email.
naturally gonna be where this may be on, is a white background.
And you,
Northport.
it's not a big deal, I can ask her to show it to us like this.
I'm not looking to do extra work. So if I look at here's a whole bunch of logos. Logo.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
this is the first I heard of it when you sent that out. I didn't know we
But,
were
you know,
considering it.
which
So I don't think
ones
we need
really
to go
stand
into
out to
it.
you? Tell me which one really stands out to you.
I think
The
some
bird on it.
Bird.
No,
Yeah, because it's got a lot of color.
some of our village trucks don't have logos on them.
I mean, that's the most.
We've been
important.
delaying because
Right,
Like, in other words, I think what Gary's saying is, like, this is the first I heard about it, but maybe if the people have other suggestions, maybe the next month, we could wait another month. It's waited 2 years, right? Nobody's.
and we've had recently people have said to us, who are those trucks?
But does it matter if we wait one more month? That's what I'm saying, if there's like.
Everything we do, we can wait another month. But then 1 month becomes another month and becomes another month. But if you want to wait another month, we can certainly do so.
Well, I think what Gary's saying is maybe we
It's kind of
explore
a fait
other.
complete then, just do it.
No, I agree with you, Gary, because it's the first, yeah, I agree with you. If, could we just see some other
Yeah.
background just to see, and we vote next
She's,
month?
What I mean, she's very responsive, she'll do it quickly.
Yeah,
I just want to clear that we should vote on this next month. So if we'll get you stuff in the next 2 weeks, if not next week.
Yeah.
And let's start circulating
So-
comments so that the next board meeting, we're not making
Fine.
comments and then we have to wait another month.
So you want more background, or just tell me tomorrow, it does, that's fine.
I just think we should consider getting away from the white as the background and see how it looks.
Okay.
And I mean, any pale color would work, just to contrast against a white background. And if you look at those, the ones that really stand out are the ones that are colorful rather than.
We should also see how this looks on our stationery.
And I did-
It'd be kind of small.
I did the black and white one, and I apologize, I didn't bring my piece of stationery.
Okay, yeah.
I made a
You
stationery.
have it to me.
And
Now, we could make a black and white version and a color version, so for
Right.
black and white things, we would do the black and
And I
white.
think you're right. On the black and white is a black and white. I mean, you're not going to get away. But I think there's probably a color version that we would be happier with on what, I mean, and I guess when you see those logos, you don't necessarily see the same thing on the welcome sign. It's maybe they use the same typeface, maybe they use some of the same elements, but it's not the same. It's not like we're just stamping a circle on
Sometimes they
it. Welcome.
carve out the top, things like that.
Yeah.
And then put the circle up there.
Right. So I just, I think we should try to understand, because once we decide this, we're not gonna go back and then, we gotta now change it because it doesn't adapt well to this other. That's all I'm asking, that we be a little more broad in thinking how the graphics work across the board.
So
Thank you.
I'm gonna look at more background colors, so I'm gonna ask what's that.
Look behind you, the green color with the sign, I think that kind of softens it, instead of
Green or
bright-
yellow,
instead of bright
maybe.
white.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, flower.
Maybe green or yellow, not something crazy. You don't have to go through the whole rainbow, but I agree.
I bet it'd be really easy. Just take one shot, changing the letters to like a really dark green with the circles in really dark green. One of the logos here looks really nice, I think, with the letters in green, especially since we're emphasizing that we're Flower Hill.
Good point.
Just, if we don't like it, we don't like it. It's just, I don't think changing the font color.
But we
on
agree to vote on it next month, how's that?
Yeah, that's fine, whatever it is.
Okay.
Excellent.
Or forever hold your peace.
Building superintendent report, Mr. Albinski.
Okay, October 27th, Architecture Review Committee, we had 4 applications. 88 Cardinal, additions and alterations, that was approved based on returning comments answered. Also returned was 183 Crabapple, the new residents. We had a number of specific comments, so we suggested that be approved with those conditions being met. New applications, 5 Sunnyvale was a rear sunroom addition. We had one comment we asked them to make, suggestion approved with that condition. And 29 Chestnut, second floor additions, one comment adding a window on that one, approved with that condition.
Are there any questions from the board? I see no members of the public here, so I will make a motion to approve the October 27, 2025 Architectural Review Committee report. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. All in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
Thank you.
I'll
Rich.
take my leave, if that's okay.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your
Good night.
input. Have a good night, Peter. Rich, DPW report.
So Stony Town was paved 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. We did the rumble strips, the striping's all done. Just have to add some signage over there just to fully be compliant with MTCD. And we planted all 3 islands that, the beautification committee came up with. So just waiting for 5 cherry trees. They were backed out on, they had only small ones, so I said, we have to wait till they get a little bit bigger. So they had to import them from, I forgot where he said, Chicago or something like that. So he said that by next week we should have them and we'll plant them. 3 of them are going on Bayberry, one's going on Country Club, and the other one's going on the Ridge Drive Island.
Rich, what's that, when you drive down Stony Town, that vibration, will that go away at some point?
It's another conversation.
But we're going to talk about that. in
There's a lot more.
Executive session.
Yeah, there's a lot more with that road.
Executive session.
Sorry.
It's all right. You didn't know.
Okay. I didn't know.
And, yeah, that's pretty much it.
I have to commend your guys, because I got a really detailed report from Kevin, and he was so pleased with how well it went.
Yeah, no.
So it was really a great effort by everyone.
How many days did it take?
One day they all did it in one
Which he
day.
had said to us at the beginning, yeah.
They
great.
brought 4 guys plus our guys and myself. We all went out there and killed it.
But that was just to do the planting.
Right.
We did the prep work, which
Yeah,
took
the
longer.
prep work we did before they got there, so we had everything pretty much all taken out and ready to go, It was a lot, but
I like the signs that told people that was being prepared. Yeah. It was
Thanks,
good.
thanks, Marla. It was Marla's idea. This way people know it's coming.
Yeah,
You put that
gotta
in the
get
mayor's,
the next ones done.
that'll highlight Kevin's laurel group in your
Oh, I
mayor's.
always thank Kevin as often as I can thank Kevin. Yes, I will publicly thank Kevin. Thank you very much. And it goes in the newsletter.
and Mark was also, he was the one that got there and actually,
Oh,
he was the one that set up, like, he was moving the planks.
I haven't met Mark yet. I've only met
Mark is like
Kevin.
his project
Okay.
manager, really good guy, really nice guy. Well, really good.
Who's that?
Franklin.
What?
David,
David.
attorney's report.
Quick, lock the door.
Attorney's report. Hence why we appointed a new person. And mayor's report. We had a busy month in Flower Hill. First of all, thank you, Rich. Almost, David. We are
Been way over.
participating, and thank you, Rich, and the Highway Department for planting. We are participating in the Worldwide Daffodil Project, which we planted 500 daffodils on the hill in the park. That is a national effort for the Daffodil Project, which aspires to build a worldwide living Holocaust memorial by planting 1.5 million daffodils in memory of the children who perished in the Holocaust. I happened to see this at the at Sands Point Preserve. And I was like, huh? And I saw the sign and I quickly took a picture, Googled it, and I said, oh my God, this thing cost us $200 for 500 bulbs.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought it was 100 for the first 250, another 100 for the next 250.
Free.
Oh, okay.
One of the groups was.
Nice.
This cost us $100 to get 500 bulbs,
That's
this
wow.
sign, and a really nice post, which
Very good.
Rich will take from me later. We'll put up in the park tomorrow or so. Rich and I attended the, what do we call that? The Highway Expo, Equipment Expo, where we were able to get.
Or the toy show for you.
It was a toy show. Well, kind of a toy show for me too. It was very good to get an education on the big dump trucks, one that we'll need to replace, education on sweepers, which we need to plan to eventually replace, our payloader, which is aging 1999. We'll eventually need to start accruing funds for that. It was all the good equipment that we need to continue the great work that our highway department does. So we're able to speak to vendors and we're able to speak to distributors and just get an understanding of what products can do, what they can't do, and what fits our specific needs. Hold on a second. I apologize. I'm not ready as I should be. I thought I had more exciting things. Other than the fact, Mary Jo and I went to a wonderful cybersecurity event hosted by DA Donnelly. This is, I think, the third year I've gone, and it's a great event. There are amazing speakers that help educate us on becoming safer when it comes to
Lowell.
I had to edit it to add 3 things. I think that's it I wanted to add for the mayor's report. I had another note, but it's MIA and it's not that important. Next on the agenda is any trustees' reports.
I have a question.
Sure.
So clearly, Rich just left, but,
Oh, he'll be back.
okay. But a big thank you along with Gary, to, the work that they did. But, so I guess now it's, only as good as your last, right? So now we'll be looking forward to, I guess with planting season is done, but the spring to target what islands are next, specifically the St. Francis. So I obviously, even if we just put grass there, I don't care what you put, it can't be mud next year.
Yes.
So that's, I don't care if it's grass seed, it doesn't need to be even turf, just grass seed. My other question is,
So
have we given any thought to holiday, whether the Christmas lights / Hanukkah, we just had Diwali, but holiday, seasonal, whether wreaths, that type of thing,
Poinsettias.
just something.
Poinsettias are nice.
we
but
have
They're
the,
a little expensive.
so we have the,
You could do mums.
We have-
It's over mums already.
we have the tree. The Women's Club will do the lighting in December, December
And the menorah.
7th or 8th.
And the
We have the menorah, so the tree lighting ceremony and the menorah, which we have there in the front part of Village Hall. Traditionally, the Women's Club provides us with poinsettias, and did they do the wreath? I can't remember, Suzanne. I'm drawing a blank.
I don't do it.
No?
The reef right here,
Yeah.
we do that.
Oh, we have the
We
wreath.
just- we have-
Okay, so it's our wreath.
It's not a real wreath, it's a.
Yeah, no, but
I'm just
that's what we've been traditionally doing for all these years. What are you
saying-
suggesting?
I'm just wondering, like the entrance to Bonnie Heights where it's Flower Hill, welcome to Flower Hill,
Need some.
like you see in Muncie Park, obviously he only has 2 entrances, so it's
But they
whatever.
also do the middle island with the flagpole. and
Yeah,
they
but
do
besides
beautiful.
that, his like on Northern Boulevard and, Manhasset Woods
Yeah.
Road, it's pretty nice. I'm just thinking, does anyone, I get it that they, that we're not doing anything per se other than the wreath that we put up and then the Flower Hill Women's Club does everything else, right? So we really have not had anybody bring up holidays.
So
AJ, you brought it up last year, didn't you?
I thought you brought it up and I backed you, or I backed you. I brought it up, you back.
You brought it up last year.
I thought we were doing something for the holidays this year. I thought
Obviously
we-
not anything, no plans for anything else that we've already,
We could still do them. It's a month.
I mean, can't we just put up some lights and that flash on and off or something? I mean,
Where?
on
We don't-
Village Hall.
We can't do them on the gutters. We don't have the equipment to do that.
Nah, I don't think Christmas lights on the buildings.
No,
Nah.
And I have no interest in it either.
It's a government building, it's
Alright.
should be more.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking like wreaths or could be anything, right?
Could be.
Like on all the Flower Hill signs.
All right, so clearly you're not in favor. Okay,
I-
that's fine.
Listen, there's a
That's
board of
fine.
7. I enjoy us being as agnostic
I
as
would,
we
I
are,
would
and let
rather,
people celebrate their holidays at their homes.
I would rather next year do a fall, we were talking about mums today. So like every village, every train station has mums all over the place and they're beautiful. And I was at Home Depot this weekend and they were 5 for $10. And I said to myself, like, we could buy 20 of them. And for $100, we could plant, you know, mums in front of this building on some of the islands. I don't know how long they last.
They're all dying right now.
Yeah,
That's
they-
why they're
they-
so cheap. This is the end of
Yeah,
mum season.
they're like
Gotta
Every
September,
season, we only have
October.
about 2 weeks left.
My mums have all, I have hardy mums, so they
Yeah.
come back every year.
Yeah, no, by
They
Thanksgiving they're gone.
They always, mine die by Halloween. All the beautiful ones in front of Brian and Cooper, I drove by today,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
all out of color. They've all,
But I
that's
think-
why they're so cheap at Home Depot now. They're past their
But
time.
they're always cheap. Mums are never really expensive.
So
But
in
they-
other words,
they-
like
they're not-
wreaths on our
they're-
windows,
they're
not
windows
lights,
or
like
they're
AJ
windows?
said, but wreaths with
Yours
spotlight on it
I
or
have hardy
just,
mums that come back.
nobody cares?
There's two kinds of
Nobody
mums.
cares. All right, fine.
Some don't.
Those are the seasonal
Right.
ones. You want hardy mums.
Gary,
I
no?
like your idea of what's next.
I think we should get a big Santa and reindeers on the roof of the village hall.
So I
Lights
think
on it.
one island that we want to get focused back onto is Bridge Road Island, now that the bridge is done. So that we should.
Well,
put that
we
on.
committed to that as soon as we
Is the
said,
country club one
we
done?
said we will
So
definitely
now's the
tackle
time.
Said somebody stole the grass and the cherry tree.
So we can, with that, so
Hey, still grass.
No, not grass. It's a plant,
The decorative.
the decorative grass.
Really? They stole it?
some of the plantings are missing. Yes.
Do we have
They-
electricity on that?
No, we will replace the plantings.
A little zap action.
So we can plan for spring planting now. So we'll convene with Rich at some point and come up with a spring planting plan, which should hopefully kick off with the Bridge Road Island. I think we could do some work there in the
Right, I
summer.
think Bridge Road Island and St. Francis are kind of the two.
Well, St.
There.
Francis, as soon as the state finishes the work,
But
They may
Right,
not
right.
do it for, like, who knows?
It'll be the.
they said they,
They didn't get said this year, but they said this year, so I don't.
I'm not
believe-
predicting the
Yeah.
timing, I'm just laying out what the ones are most high
So,
profile. And whether or not we implement the plan or not, at least we have the plan.
I think we could do this, and we can sit down with Rich and have another beautification committee, but I think we could definitely plan on the spring for Bridge Road, and I think we can plan on the fall for St. Francis, Middle Neck, and we'll find other islands to do as well.
Okay.
Would like cost nothing to put grass seed in there in the spring, right? In the event that they don't do it next year. So it's not mud. What?
Yeah, I mean.
How much does grass seed cost? Yeah.
Grass
Well-
is cheap, but you got no water over there too.
Grass will die on that island, it's
There's-
surrounded by
There are
asphalt.
grasses that
We can figure
do well
something out.
in almost no
Just
water.
figure something else
Decorative
without
gravel.
mud. That's all I'm asking.
AstroTurf. I know,
I'm gonna make a motion to go in executive to set.
wait, I wanted to
executive-
ask, I want a couple of things.
Okay.
The police report.
Can I ask before you go to executive session?
Well,
you
as soon as I'm-
want
as soon as-
to do
Can you let the
Soon
trustee
as I'm
finish
done.
first?
I can't hear you.
As soon as I'm done, you can.
Let me stand up. I'm getting my hearing.
No, wait,
aids.
he's gonna finish
David.
first. He's gonna finish first.
Let
Trustee
Frank,
Janice is gonna finish.
let Frank finish.
Right.
And then
And
we
then
can
you
talk
can.
to you.
Please, please.
Do we know where this auto larceny was?
Someone look for it.
Huh? No, I know it's somewhere in the car, yeah. These police reports are useless, basically. They've been for years, because they don't tell you anything. So it says one incident, larceny auto. Shouldn't we know, like, if someone's car got stolen? Do they not tell us that?
I don't watch that.
Like, don't we have a right to know, like, if a car gets stolen or a house gets broken into, like other than a burglary. Like, that's great.
In the past, when we have asked,
They've
we have
said
always
no.
been told no because they're active police investigations and there's privacy. We can ask again, but we've been told that they will not provide us with the details.
I mean, it's kind of. The other thing is that, do we have any pull on the red light at the corner of Old Northern Boulevard and Mineola Avenue?
So that is,
The one that turns
missed-
green
that
for
is-
8 seconds
that
and
is
then you
missed-
wait 10 minutes?
it is mistimed.
It's been like that for years.
Marla and I sent
Yeah.
a letter to ask about
Okay.
that intersection as well as the intersection of Center and Northern Boulevard.
Yeah.
Because if you attempt to make the left, if you're heading north, leaving the village,
Mhm.
and you need to make a left to head east on Northern Boulevard, it's not exactly safe because you never know if a car heading
There
north,
should
sorry,
be
you're going
there
south.
should be an arrow.
There should be some sort of
You're
traffic
talking about
control
to make a
device.
left onto the viaduct.
Affirmative.
Yeah, that's.
There should be
it's
some
very
sort of
dangerous.
safety device.
Should be an arrow.
We've asked the state to figure out what the
I
safest
don't know what else,
solution is.
or you stagger the time on the lane.
We've asked the state to address both intersections.
But
We
last
just sent
week,
that
that-
letter out 2 weeks ago.
Last week, traffic was backed up to the old Porsche dealer on Mineola Avenue because the light only changes for 10 seconds.
It is misaligned.
And nobody's paying attention, they're on their phone, and there were a couple of switches that no one moved. The front car didn't even react.
I had someone this year who
horrible.
darted through because they thought they would have more than the 8 seconds and they backed up right into my car. because
Oh, really?
They were in the middle of that intersection. It's a terrible intersection. we
But
did-
that
we
Randall's
said
is a
we
good
just
point,
addressed-
that left turn out of Center Drive is
If the state
treacherous.
is going to address
Yeah.
that, we want them to
It's
address
treacherous.
both parts of the intersection because interestingly enough, the old Northern Boulevard light needs to be synced with the Northern Boulevard light because if you do make it through that quick little piece and you get stuck because of the
Yes.
cars,
Right.
it becomes gridlock. So we've asked them to
Yeah.
look at both. They're also looking, a separate letter we just received the confirmation, they're looking at the light on Northern Boulevard by Middle Neck Road. Because that backs up with there's no turn on red. Perhaps they want to put a traffic control device there. But we've asked them to look at that as well.
Wait, Northern and Middle, by where
Northern and
Dunkin'
Middle
Donuts
Neck,
was?
where Dunkin' Donuts
To
currently
make a
is.
right onto Middle Neck Road?
If there's the ability to put a right arrow right there.
Oh,
Or any
did
other
this
one.
year. I saw an email or
Max
something.
sent it, he
Oh,
said
Max,
they
you
rethink
right.
it because the Dunkin' Donut people use it to exit there, it'd be very dangerous, so I think he
So-
rethought his original.
No, the dangerous thing about Dunkin' Donuts is the curb cut.
Okay,
It's a
I can answer
90-foot
all your
curb cut.
questions.
So,
So there is a new owner of that property.
Right.
I happen to have a conversation with the gentleman. There will be plans submitted to the village in the near future. One of his key things is to make those curb cuts safer.
Yeah.
And he's going to address the non-curb cuts, the massive amount of curb.
And if you look at the police report for accidents,
Yes,
following on this
Some
instance,
of the 10 are distracted driving it.
following too
Following
closely,
too closely. and
Following too
not
closely.
Not yielding right away.
following too closely. Yeah, it's all at that corner.
so
Well,
these
not
are
all.
the new.
There's
the new-
1, 2, 3. 3.
You also have to remember that intersection is really 5 roads somewhere.
Yeah. No, there is.
So that could be any part of the 5 where it comes.
So people make a left and you're behind them and then they at the last second realize they need coffee and they jam on their brakes
Yes.
and you plow into the back of them and then you're at fault.
The safety of that intersection from the new owner's perspective is tantamount to his application. And
Did
he
you
will-
mention what might go in there?
No. Any food type restaurant will need a special use permit.
Right.
He did not mention, he's talking about rebuilding the building. I mentioned about the safety and he said, yes, those curb cuts will be
Bravo.
professional,
About
real
time.
curb cuts, not what's been transpired over the last 50 years there.
Bravo.
Just completely out of curiosity, when the car backed into you, does your neck hurt? Because I can help you.
It's not, he was a kid, he was like, could have been my
She
son.
called Morgan and Morgan.
Oh, is that one?
Yeah.
Or the guy, have you seen the guy that is almost like the Seinfeld character who comes in?
Yeah.
He's like that guy, like the
Okay.
bulldog.
Well, yeah.
We have a need to go into executive session.
Oh, wait.
However,
Right.
does somebody want to reopen up public comment? And if so, make that motion.
Oh, I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
David, speak briefly.
Be quick. The change in the tree law.
That public hearing has been closed
I know
and,
that,
and
but
continued to next month.
I want to address the board from the legal perspective. I read today, not until today, what you have approved. I assume you approved it already.
It was not approved, it was continued to
And
next
I
month.
just want to make a general comment, and it's for Jeff. Hear me out on this. I read it and I thought, what you have, I like the basis for this, and I like the genesis of what you're trying to do. I understand the safety perspective. But I think, in a way, to open up a can of worms, I like laws that are good laws. And if I was a resident and I had an issue, and the village or somebody came at me based on the way the code was written, my question would be for Jeff particularly. I would sue the village to say, if you want to go after me, you've got 70 other homes to also go after. What position does that put our village, my tax dollars, in defending possibly lawsuits from residents that are not happy when they're informed that they've got to do certain things? So I asked, the way it's written, you can, it seems to me, very specific. You can demand certain things. My defense, and I'm not a lawyer, would be, well then it should apply to everybody. Are we opening ourselves up to a can of worms? That's all I'm bringing up to the board. So I understand the validity of what you're trying to do here, but I want to know when you do something, how it's going to be most useful and what exposure and how we're going to enforce it and where we go with this 5 years and 10 years from now when we're not all here. That's all. That was my comment for public forum, and just take it in advisement. And I appreciate you hearing it.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Can I ask, just this is off the record,
There
did
is no
anything
further.
happen with that earlier today?
Yeah, so next month.
We are making some
Come back
changes.
next month.
We are making changes to it. We
Well, maybe keep in mind what I just said. that
we also are receipt of your letter. We're also in receipt of your letter
Oh, that was just.
amongst your
so I wanted
22
to be able
visits
to-
at my desk that you've made. All righty.
Can Jeff respond in any way to that?
I
In
don't-
the public forum about if we order ourselves to a liability, trying to treat everybody equally?
I think
Because the board is reconsidering it, it's probably nothing for me to respond to right now.
So,
They're reworking, so.
all right, I just brought up, I'm glad I brought up the issue. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, David. All right, I'm making a motion to go into executive session to discuss a pending legal matter.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Rich, can you kill the camera? Thank you.